What is up guys, it's Solheim here, back again with another classic WoW Season of Mastery video. Today we are going to be talking about the main problem with classic WoW Season of Mastery in my opinion, and possible solutions. The number one problem of Season of Mastery, at least in my opinion, is the decay of players, combined with the barrier to entry for new players. Players are always leaving Season of Mastery, and almost nobody is picking it up. 99% of people who wanted to play Season of Mastery, they joined in the first couple of weeks, and only 1% of the player base will be joining later, if even that many. This might be because this is an old version of the game. I mean, it's based on vanilla or classic WoW, so most people that know about Season of Mastery also knew about it at the launch and wanted to be there for the launch hype. But another factor is that classic WoW, especially set in a seasonal setting with 12-month life cycles, is really not geared towards attracting new players. So with a game that is literally hemorrhaging players, not pulling in new players is absolutely destructive. I recently made a video regarding how many players have left Season of Mastery so far, as well as the lack of interest in Season of Mastery, indicating that over 50% of the player base have already stopped playing. So if 50% of the players quit after a month of the season being out, and no new players are coming in, imagine how dead the season will feel in another couple of months. So why is this happening? Let's talk about the barriers to entry. But first, a word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Merge Market Food Town. Merge Market Food Town is a relaxing and calming game, available on both iOS and Android. Merge Market Food Town is a game that you can play anywhere and anytime. Come and play at any time, play during a few minute break, or play for an hour. You can find fruits, merge foods, decorate, and chill out. The gameplay consists of dragging the same foods together to make new yummy foods to deliver, and you can complete deliveries to add decorations to your restaurants. Orders up, start your restaurant in Merge Market Food Town today. We have already talked about why players are leaving in a video that I uploaded very recently, which you can go and check out after this one. First off, time investment. So for raiding, there's several hours per week, increasing every patch with more raids, plus you need to repeat all the raids for specific raid items with low drop chance to gear up your character for future raids. In phase 1 you might only spend 3 hours per week raiding, but you are probably also spending more time doing PvP or dungeons to gear up in other ways. In phase 3 the amount of hours spent on raiding might increase to 6 per week. In phase 4 you might increase to 8 hours with the addition of Sulgurub. Phase 5 you're looking at another 2 to 3 hours with Ankiraj, which puts the total up to 10 to 11 hours, and in phase 6 you are probably looking at 12 plus hours every single week of just raiding. Next up, PvP. There's an obvious time investment to rank up, and this is determined by which rank you want to go for, and whether or not you are ranking up in a pre-made. Right now in Season of Mastery, a lot of people are rushing to rank 10, as you can get access to some really decent gear without actually hitting rank 14, and some of the PvP gear is better than Molten Core gear, meaning this gear will be used for months before potentially being replaced, making this grind semi-mandatory for a lot of players. Another huge time investment in Classic WoW or Season of Mastery is the leveling process. Leveling in Classic WoW is a huge time investment. Level 1 to 60 took me 6 days of playing, and I played 19 hours every single day. Someone leveling up as fast as me, but playing 4 hours per day, would need 4 weeks to hit level 60. Likewise, someone playing 2 hours per day would need 8 weeks to hit level 60. With a 12-month lifespan, having 10 to 20% of the game being a time investment focused on the leveling process is a huge ask, especially when it's something we very recently did with Classic WoW. You also have the fact that a lot of us that are interested in Classic WoW are probably classified as boomers. You might have a full-time job, you might have a family, wife and kids, and some of us might even have other hobbies than just playing WoW as well. Let's just say you can only play on weekends. In order to achieve an average of 2 hours per day, you would have to play 7 hours on both Saturday and 7 hours on Sunday, and in that case it would take you 2 months to level up. At the beginning of Season of Mastery, that might not be the biggest barrier to entry, as people are genuinely enjoying the leveling experience, and not a lot of people start raiding the first couple of weeks, so you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. But for new players starting later, the time it takes to level up is a huge barrier to entry, when you know that after 12 months the season is basically over, and you will be transferred to Classic Era servers. Therefore, the later you start in the season, the bigger that time investment is compared to the rest of your playtime. So if you start in Phase 5, leveling to 60 would take roughly 50% of your time in Season of Mastery. For most players, starting late is pretty much not an option, especially when you got a limited time span for the season itself, and because of the time limit, every week or every month that you missed out on carries so much more meaning, and you feel even more behind within the game itself. Next up, the season is simply too short for most casual players, especially when you know that after the season is over, your characters will be transferred over to Classic Era servers, and we already know what Classic Era is like. The fact is that going into Season of Mastery, you are expecting to have fun for 12 months, knowing that after those 12 months, your progress is deleted, and you start over in a brand new season. While that is probably the definition of seasonal play, I would personally like some type of progress to carry over into the next season. Maybe not progress, but definitely achievements. Maybe make an achievement or a title for reaching level 60 in Season of Mastery that players can show off during the next season, and do the same for every single raid boss or raid tier in Season of Mastery as well, and some sort of achievement or feat of strength, and give players something to show off, just something that gives us long-term rewards for the future. I think a huge drawback to Season of Mastery for most players is knowing that after the season is over, their progress is wiped and they start over completely fresh, so we need to fix that in some kind of way. So with that said, I did say the main problem with Season of Mastery is the decay of players, as well as the barrier to entry for new players. So with that in mind, here's a couple of possible solutions to attract new players. Number one is a literal built-in catch-up system. Think of something like Legion Artifact Power if you played Legion, but if you didn't, then let me come up with an example. For a possible Season of Mastery catch-up, or future seasons as well, make it so new players will level faster based on when they start playing the game. They could, for example, increase the experience gained from quests by 10% every single week, starting at week 2, meaning that people who played in week 1 would get 50% from questing in Season of Mastery, and in week 2 everyone gets 60%, week 3 you get 70%, and so on until Season of Mastery is finished. While this will end up with plus 570% experience from questing by the end, that also means people who start closer to the end of the season will level up significantly faster, and they can start the actual end game before the season is finished. A catch-up mechanic like this would remove a huge barrier to entry within the game itself, and if you combine that with some actual good advertisements for Season of Mastery, you would have a really good chance at attracting some new players to the game to keep the population healthy. Option number 2 would be to reintroduce Recruit a Friend bonuses, including both mounts and experience bonus. This would incentivize current Season of Mastery players to invite their friends to play Season of Mastery, and it would also incentivize them to play and level up with their friends. I think we can all agree that Classic WoW is a game best played with friends, whether that is a real-life friend, an in-game friend, or by being in a guild, and for a lot of potential Season of Mastery players, one of the barriers to entry is not having people to play with. Having a Recruit a Friend bonus like this would encourage players to find others to group up with and level with online, both on forums, Reddit and Discord, and honestly, I don't see any downsides with it. So that's pretty much it guys, the main problem with Season of Mastery, and a couple of possible solutions to it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below and slap a like on the video if you did enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.